The Adventures of Bayou Billy, Konami, 1989.
The Adventures of Bayou Billy.
So we start the game up here, and this asshole takes your girl and says, if you got what it takes. What he means is, if you've got the balls. So the first stage here is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game. Kind of like Double Dragon, but not as good. You even fight these two guys who look like Billy and Jimmy Lee in the red and the blue. The biggest problem I have with these side-scrolling beat-em-up levels is your punches and kicks are way too awkward, and the way you perform a jump kick is you push A and B at the same time. That's not too uncommon, it just feels really clunky in this game. I guess maybe you'd have to actually play this game to understand how it feels. I always found this part of the game to be really difficult. There just doesn't seem to be a good pattern or attack strategy to stay alive. So you crawl through swamps, avoid gators, fight these guys with rocks. It just kind of looks like a side-scrolling beat-em-up game, but it's just not as good as most of them. So there's a driving part of the game here that kind of has this behind-the-vehicle view, kind of like Outrun or Rad Racer. So your two attack methods here are to use the gun on the ground to hit the jeeps, and to throw grenades up in the air to hit the planes. I find it hilarious that the jeep here is supposedly going 180 miles an hour. So you'll notice there's Mode A and Mode B, and at the gun level, that's where Mode A and Mode B make a difference. In Mode A, you use the actual light gun. And in Mode B, you use the controller to control a crosshair. Your bullets are labeled up top here, but in a strange design choice, if you hit somebody, you don't lose a bullet. You only lose bullets if you miss your target. So in theory, you could beat this whole stage with just one bullet. This game almost feels like they had ideas for 3 different kinds of games, but couldn't decide which one they wanted to make, so they just threw them all together. Before I wrap up this review, I have to say, I love Konami. Konami is one of the greatest game companies of all time, in my opinion. They made a lot of the greatest games on Nintendo, a lot of my favorite games on Nintendo, and still to this day, make a lot of really good games. They have a lot of great series that still live to this day, and we'll get to the ones on Nintendo eventually, but it's just really unfortunate we have to start with this game as an example for Konami. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm going hard on this game because Konami doesn't make good games. They make great games. This one just happens to be a really bad example. I played this game very little as a kid, and I just got bored with it because the difficulty of the first level just made it really unenjoyable to play. And like I said, as much as I love Konami, this was a title no one I ever knew really liked, so I'll just give it a 4 out of 10.